want to preserve your power indefinitely, you have to get the consent of the ruled.
Those who are plugged into reality are getting a sinking feeling in their gut. We're in a shift. A few of us are misguidedly demanding for someone to make a change. The rest are happy to drift through life. But there's no real difference between these two inactions. Only those who do will contribute to the outcome.
To change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore.
We have consented to be part of a collective vehicle, to be driven into the sea, to drown while the drivers escape. And that's generally how things go. Once in a while, we take them down with us, but their doctrine always survives. Are we stuck in this cycle, or can we manipulate it? Can we flip it? Can we escape while they drown? Maybe. But the gain from this would be brief, lasting only until their subordinates fill the vacant role of power. Let's not drive off the cliff at all, sinking into the darkness of an untold past. Let's crash before we get there. Let's destroy the vehicle and escape while they try and gather the pieces. Who are these drivers? It doesn't matter who. It only matters that it's not the individual. It only matters that it excludes us. Their power is funneled through the state, so we'll use the label. The state's entire being is focused on putting off the shift. They want to preserve their moment of power and stretch it out indefinitely. They can't, but they will hurt countless trying to. When their time ends, they'll fall out of reach, but only to rise up again in the glory of a new now. The swords they'll always wield are distraction and docility. In distraction, we do not think. In docility, we do not act. Distraction fractures us and gives us a false sense of vigor. We take a side, feeling passionate and fulfilled. We ignore the big picture. We're mice, fighting over what to eat, who to bed, and where to live, when all we have to do is notice the walls and chew through them. The happy mouse will never bother.
Happiness is beautiful, it's a kind of reality. Happiness is the highest good, happiness is free. So let's be so very happy.
Welcome to the Happiness Show. This is George Ortega. I'm here with Lionel Ketchian, and we're here to talk about happiness, because happiness is, always has been, and always will be the point of it all. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the happy pill. Okay, Lionel, why don't you start us off? Why do we need a happiness pill?
Everything has been geared towards finding happiness. If you're not happy, then something is wrong. Take a class, take a pill, read a book. Happiness is what matters most. It's become a cult, rejecting all other states of mind. The perfect still water, allowing ruling forces to fester and spread. All the while we smile, submitting to a lukewarm dream. The happy stay stagnant. The happy don't speak out or revolt. Happy can't be our starting point. Happiness is created, not found. Being sad, enraged, resentful, especially right now, is appropriate. It's needed. Allow yourself to feel everything. Torment, anger, despair. This is what fuels passion and change. This is what makes us exceptional. When we're born, we inherit rights that no one can take away, at least in spirit. The right to life, which extends to the right to defend that life. The right to property, which extends to defending that property and the privacy within it. And the right to be free, to speak freely and to live freely as long as you don't impede on the rights of others. Respecting these rights should result in equality, that is, equal treatment of human beings under law. But that's not what equality means today. There's a big difference between treating everyone equally and trying to make everyone equal. Now equality means that we're all the same. This has made us entitled to perpetuate baseless ideas. It doesn't matter if the topic being discussed just entered our vocabulary. We are taught that our words still carry weight.
CNN did yesterday. What is your opinion? What do you think the likelihood is of a terrorist attack at the Olympic Games in Greece? There was 6% said it was very likely, 44% said somewhat likely, 33% not very likely, 13% said not likely at all. That's 99%. It's a fucking pie chart. 99% of the people had an opinion. The only answer to that question is, I don't fucking know. How would I know? But everyone's got a very strong opinion with no fucking actual knowledge to go with it. 99% should be a whole pizza pie chart of I don't fucking know. That shows you 99% of Americans will give you a strong opinion even though they have no fucking clue whatsoever. They just want to be mad. They want to fill out cards.
We are so equal that when there's a conflict, it must be on the basis of gender, sex, religion, or race, since all other factors are considered arbitrary. We are taught that we're equally learned, equally witty, and equally comprehending. Therefore, our only differences are external. Equality now means we're a collective. Equality has become synonymous with entitlement. We are all equal, therefore we deserve the same wages, the same education, the same health care, no matter at what or whose cost. But we are not all the same. We are strong, weak, smart, stupid, talented, basic, misguided, lovable, wicked. We all start in different places, have different natural and granted advantages, and we all follow different paths. We can't deny this reality with law and social policy. We can't force equal opportunity because it's a lie. The only thing we can do is leave individuals alone and not take away people's rights. Not only is equality a lie, it's also mundane. It's the ultimate demotivation. If you're equal to everyone else, you're already there, so sit back and do nothing. Be equally ruled, equally coerced, equally debased. We can only escape this by accepting our freedom as our own responsibility.
Wait a minute, what is this thing called group? Where is a group? Can you point to a group? Can you see a group? And you can't. You can only see individuals. The word group is an abstraction. It's like the word forest. There's no such thing as a forest. There are only trees. Sure. You can see trees, but you cannot see forests. So it's an abstraction. When you then, therefore, base a political philosophy on an abstraction, and you say that this abstraction has rights that are greater than the individual, you've made a huge mistake, because what you're doing is you're sacrificing this so-called group anyway, but you're doing it one person at a time. And the irony of it is that the leaders of this so-called democracy, or this concept of collectivism, of the superiority of the group, the leaders are making the decisions of what is best for the greater number.
Don't accept the insult of equality. This is just another form of collectivism. And when we're collected into neat piles, we are easy to reign over. We must be individuals practicing non-compliance. We must give them too many pieces to pick up. Chaos begets freedom. William Gibson said, "Things aren't different, things are things." Does our existence loop, unchanging in its essence? Can anyone hope to be of real influence? Can there be true change, or does history simply repeat itself? History doesn't repeat itself. It rhymes. The future can look bleak because our power structure doesn't seem to change at its core, but we are human beings. We only live in the now, and that now can be shaped to our benefit. Imagine our timeline as a cave, and us as both fading and amplified echoes. We know what's going to happen because its remnants are in our past. What we can influence is how and under what circumstances the shift presents itself. A new sound won't escape the cave, but it will change the chorus. We need to stop lending them a hand. We've allowed them to poison our minds. Suspicion, accusation, fear, guilt, worship. We tell each other that we've become selfish and greedy, but can we truly be selfish while letting our lives be ruled by external forces? And we're definitely not greedy. We used to want the world. Now we want a stable job and an Xbox. We can't rebuild a world that's still standing. We can't comprehend a shift when we live in placidity, just like we can't make a leap without momentum. But is it plausible to hurl ourselves at a solid wall which has the historical success of murdering spirit and sculpting apathetic attitudes? What if we fail, or worse, suffer? Dostoevsky described that the horror of being sentenced to death was not in the death, but in the wait. Being trapped in a vehicle of serfdom is always worse than the crash. Waiting is the death. This is the point that needs to resonate. In a time when caring makes you a radical, taking action makes you a traitor, and helping the shift makes you a terrorist, this message can easily be lost on the masses. Good thing we don't need them. Revolution has always been made up of the minority. It only takes the ideas of a few to make a world for the many. We can reconstruct the now in our own vision, even if it's just for the brief time between the next collapse. That is where our choice lies. So brave the world, manipulate the shift, and get greedy.